Hi guys, this is Revolution Ricky here at Casa de Revolution. Here to do a little bit of a video. Last night, me and my wife, we were in Goshen, Mississippi, at a concert. We went to see the I Want My 80s tour, featuring John Cafferty. He was performing. He didn't have the Beaver Brown Band with him. He was performing, and there was Wang Chung. There was John Waite, and headlining was Rick Springfield. The whole concert was fantastic. It's being a heavy metal music fan, I love that genre of music, but it's also good to pull back and do another genre of music that's not heavy, not hard, just plain old straight up rock and roll. And that's what we saw. In fact, I've raved about this before, and I bought a T-shirt like this yesterday because I've always loved John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. They did the soundtrack to Eddie and the Cruisers and Eddie and the Cruisers 2, and they have some of their other stuff. Well, I was kind of disappointed that John Cafferty didn't perform more, and the only thing he had as merchandise was a shirt. I was hoping, because he has a new album out, that he would promote that new album and have it available at the merch table. Well, he didn't, so I only got this T-shirt. And I love John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band, but I wanted to show this off because I had taken this to the concert with me in the hopes that maybe I would run into him. And I had it signed a couple of years ago. This is the Eddie and Cruisers soundtrack with Michael Pare, who played Eddie Wilson, and the music done by John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band, which is my favorite soundtrack. It's a great soundtrack that I love. I was actually going to hang this up on my wall because I got a bunch of autographed records that I keep and I don't play. So I would love to hang this up there on the wall with the rest of them because I got the La Bamba soundtrack signed by Lou Diamond Phillips, and I got the Alita Ford signed my Alita album, and Sam J. Jones signed my Flash Gordon album. And I would like to hang this up with them, but I'm probably going to have to add something to that because last night, as I was buying this T-shirt, I got a gift from my wife from Wang Chung, and it's the Big Hits and Near Misses album of greatest hits. It's only got like maybe 10 songs, like Dance Hall Days, which is a big hit. Everybody Have Fun Tonight, which was monstrous. Let's Go was a pretty good hit. To Live and Die in LA, I really like that one. But the album, the record itself, I was jealous of it. I had taken this out last night after me and my wife had got home, and I was really envious of it. The record is actually phenomenal. I love that artwork on it, and records like this are hit and miss with me. But I had told my wife that, you know what, if I see something, I'm going to buy it. And she was very understanding. And my wife knows that I love vinyl albums now. But this is autographed by the lead singer and guitarist and the bassist and singer of the group. So that was actually very cool about seeing this. That's I probably won't play it. Probably get a CD version of it so we can play. But everybody was just so phenomenal playing, and Rick Springfield came on and rocked the house. it had a whole age range of people there. I mean, there must have been people 12 to 60, 70 years old there, which was so cool. Uh, that's how music lives. They go out and they perform. It's not like today's music where it's like beep, beep, boop, boop, and then done. Um, I don't. I like music like that. It's good to pull back and listen to stuff like that from the 80s, which is the genre that I grew up with. It was a phenomenal show. And they sing all the great hits that you listen to over the years. Rick, Rick Springfield actually went into the crowd and sung Human Touch. I was hoping he'd come our way. I'd shake his hand, but that didn't work. Now for a little bit of personal. When John Waite came on, he did his solo work. He did stuff from the Babies, and he did stuff from Bad English, which I listened to Bad English because they were Neil Sean and Jonathan Cain from Journey was in that group, and Journey was on a hiatus, and they went out there and performed with John Waite. Well, I didn't know that was John Waite in the beginning when I first heard him, when I bought the cassette back in 1989 of the Bad English debut album. And my cousin Lori is a John Waite fan. She loved the song Missing You. And this is going to segue into a little bit of a tribute to her. Me and my cousins and my sister were all very close growing up. I'm the oldest. My cousin Lori was the second. My cousin Matt's the third. My sister Rhiannon is the fourth, and my cousin Ashley is the last. 5 grandchildren. Both my grandparents are gone. But when we didn't have siblings, me and my cousin Lori called each other brother and sister. And nobody could tell us any different. Because we didn't have siblings growing up. I didn't have a sister growing up until 1978 when my sister was born. And Lori didn't have a brother until maybe a couple years later when her brother Matt was born. So for that time, we called each other brother and sister. And we all fought like brothers and sisters anyway. Well, back in the 80s, Lori and Matt had stayed with us for a time. And I was already getting out of the comic book era of stuff because I was getting bored with it. And moving into another era, which was girls, cars, music, movies, stuff that I related to. And I had decided that, I was going to leave that genre behind. Well, I was already listening to Prince. I was listening to Michael Jackson, Culture Club, Duran Duran. I was listening to Rick Springfield, John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. I listened to a little bit of John Waite because I only knew that one song. Missing You. And Lori always raved about that song. So last night when John Waite performed it at the concert, my mind went directly to my cousin Lori. With Lori, she was the yin to the yang. There's some stuff that's personal I won't share. There's a funny story which I'll add later on because the family knows it and I like to keep that secret. I've told my family and my wife several times about it and they know what it is. And around, we would all do stuff. We would go to the beach every day, and I'd have to take my boom box and a few cassettes with me to play on the beach. Uh, Stuff like Prince's 1999 album, um, the Jackson's Victory album, Culture Club, Duran Duran, and anything and everything that we were listening to that around that time, we would take and lay out on the beach. We went to the beach every day. By the time, oh God, 85, I went back to school, I was tanner. I had a tan. Everybody asked me, how'd you get so tan? And I said, well, I spent every day at the beach during the summer. You couldn't ask for a better summer back in the 80s, especially when you're listening to music. And we did, like I said, we didn't have a care and a worry in the world. And it was so fun. I can't remember much of a more fun time I've had. Uh, in 2015 or 16, I can't remember the date actually, and I could be wrong. My cousin Lori was diagnosed with ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease. Lou Gehrig's disease affects has taken some of the most beloved athletes and people away from us way too early. We had just lost Steve Mongo McMichael, who played for the Chicago Bears and who was a member of the later version of the Four Horsemen and World Championship Wrestling with Ric Flair and Arn Anderson and uh, I think Chris Benoit and himself. We just lost him to the disease. There's a guitarist who played on David Lee Roth's "A Little Ain't Enough" album, who has the disease, and he's still alive, but he can't do nothing. He communicates with his eyes. And I had a friend who ran an art gallery here in where I live, who passed away from the disease. Well, in 2015 or 16, my cousin Lori was diagnosed. And one thing that Lori never lost during her battle was her smile. She knew what she had, but she never lost her smile. And we had lost Lori in 2020, around the first week of August. And Lori, to me, when I had gotten married, Lori, to me, opinion mattered more to me than any other opinion I had when I had gotten married. And, because we had went up there in 2012, and it was my first trip to Tennessee in about 5 years at that point. Tennessee has always been my home away from home. It's a beautiful place. The land and the mountains are so peaceful. You can really. I got lost in Tennessee going to her house one time. And, I would stay over her house sometimes with her and her children. Um, and I would spend the night there. And Lori was just she's really was an angel to the family. Uh, Today, like I said, Lori's no longer with us. She went home to be with God in 2020. But one thing I could say is that Lori never lost her smile. And memories of her, I always, especially last night when John Waite was performing Missing You, and when I see you smile, my memories went back to her. Because I kind of imagined that she was there enjoying the concert with us. And I was kind of nervous and hesitant at first to put this out because, you know, her husband and her children and her grandchildren got to see Lori every day. I only got to see her maybe a few times out of the year, but those few times out of the year always was worth it. The last conversation I had with Lori was in 2017 when me and my wife went and visited her. Her husband and her rented a beach house and they surprised us. And we had a good old time and talked, and it really brought us back to the memories of going to the beach when we were younger. I didn't go to the beach when they went, but Lori loved the beach here so much that she wanted to go again. And that was the last time I had had any conversation with her. I had wrote her a letter about the memories of Lori, and yeah, I'm going to keep that private. So I just wanted to get on here and say that the concert last night was beautiful. It was so good. We had a good time. But those two songs reminded me of Lori a lot. Missing You and I Want to See You Smile. When I See You Smile by John Waite. And I really wasn't a big John Waite fan growing up, but I respected him. And he put on a great performance last night. And, you know, I just wanted to share that. Well, this is Revolution Ricky, signing off. Keep spinning that vinyl. Lori, I miss you. I miss you. I miss you.